Hey folks, I just did a few videos on different guitars, and I just thought I'd make another quick video to give some kudos or praise to a couple of fellow YouTubers that I've recently watched videos of and have found very informative. The first one's a fairly new channel to me. The bloke seems informed, articulate. His channel is called Robert's Guitar Dungeon. I don't know if anybody on here has run across that. I'm sure you have. He did a video, a 20-minute video a week or so ago about the whole Dean guitar countersuit against Gibson. And to be honest with you, I don't really keep up with the technicalities on all that. I'm so used to Gibson suing everyone throughout my whole life. I've kind of blocked it out, but I've heard noise recently that they're at it again, and particularly they're going after Dean, which isn't really a small company. You know, Dean guitars are featured on this channel, and of course I know they also are responsible for brands like Luna. So they're not, it's not a tiny company, so it's quite a battle, I would imagine. I always see Gibson these days as being sort of a fading star, and Dean seems to be an up and coming, or perhaps they're past that now. I mean, ever since they put out models like Dimebag's guitar, which was a real coup for the company, they seem to be you're doing really well. Their acoustics are good. They've got a good electric line. Robert's video is very informative. He goes into the ins and outs of the lawsuit, the counter lawsuit, a lot of good information. He doesn't take sides, expresses that he doesn't wish to boycott either one, that he sees points to both sides of the argument, although he definitely doesn't want to see Dean put out of business, which I don't think is going to happen, but you never know. I mean, I was really angry a few years ago when Fender bought the Tacoma factory and shut it down. I think Guild's using it now, or they were. That really angered me because I love Tacoma guitars. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I'm always looking for them. So for Fender to just do that, I found really annoying, and I find myself avoiding buying Fenders for that reason. Although I didn't research it too closely, so there may be more to it than what I've just relayed to you. But anyway, I just thought to mention Robert's video of June 14th. It's called Dean Guitars is Suing Gibson. I'll put a link under the video description here so that you can watch it. There's a good amount of feedback on there. A lot of people are taking Dean's side. One or two people, you know, of course, are taking Gibson's side. A lot of people are just staying neutral. But anyway, I thought to mention that I found it very informative, and you know, it sort of gets you up to speed on the whole issue. Another one that I found really interesting is from a channel that I'm a bit more familiar with, and that's our long-haired, bodybuilding looking chap. Goes by Guitar Max. I think he just changed his name to Guitar Max. It was something else, Max Triple X or something, and he decided that was too porno-like, and changed his name. He does good videos. He does a lot of the same stuff that I do, although his channel gets a lot more notoriety. He's better looking. Also, you know, his videos are very polished. But anyway, he did a interview with Steve from Boston. I think he used to go by Pixie Licks, if I remember rightly, while they were in Germany with Harley Benton, about import guitars. And I think the title is Import Guitars Good or Bad, featuring Steve from Boston. And they talk about the history of import guitars. There's a lot of good information on there, a lot of the same territory that I've been covering in my videos, but it's very succinct and well done. Steve seems to go back a little bit further than I do, so he has a good amount of knowledge to impart. I particularly liked his comments about Ibanez. When they came on the scene, they changed the whole market. The market was very much vintage, or the top brands sort of ruled the roost, and Ibanez were the first sort of revolutionary guitar company to come along and rock the boat and change the whole dynamic. And then they became, in and of their own right, a top guitar company. They started out as a cheap import alternative to the higher end guitars. I didn't know the whole story on that, so that was really interesting. I slightly disagree with some of the stuff on there. Steve makes the point that he thought import guitars were very deserving of their bad reputation 20 years ago. I'm not quite sure I want to say that. I would say that there are a lot of examples of bad quality imports, and you can see why Chinese or Asian made instruments got bashed for so many years, because there were always more bad examples than good examples. But I think even 20 years ago, of course there were a lot less of them, but I think there were good instruments being made, particularly in Japan, just starting to get made in Korea, and probably even China, although we might have to extend to the bowed string instruments to make that claim. There were some really good makers of stringed instruments in China, even as far back as, let's say, the early 2000s or the mid 90s. I worked for a top guitar company at that time, and we were importing guitars from Korea and China, and I could see just in my short tenure with that company the quality go up, the prices starting to drop. It's nowhere near as good as it is now, but I think the ball was rolling in that particular period. But anyway, I just thought I'd point those two videos out because there's a lot of good information in there, and a lot of it sort of covers some of the same material that we do on this channel. And I always like to promote fellow YouTubers, particularly those who take the time to do some research and present interesting material, who are informed and you can learn from. So there's a couple of examples of videos I've watched lately. I'll put the links in the description below the video, and you can go watch them and perhaps make a comment or two. We're all in this together, so we might as well plug each other's stuff, right? All right, see you next time.